We're back, my little Halloweenies, for another instalment of Jumbo Shangos and the Randy Moles. 31 Days of Horror. We are still going strong. I have just watched 2019's movie Trick. I've really been looking forward to watching this. It's available on Netflix. It's been out for a little while on Netflix. And I've been waiting for it to get closer to Halloween because it's a Halloween-themed slasher movie, which is a great place to start. But it's it's directed by, what's his name, Patrick, is it Lussier? Patrick Lussier? I'm really bad with pronunciations. Who's the guy that made Drive Angry, My Bloody Valentine. He was the director of those films. And Drive Angry is great. My Bloody Valentine, the remake, I think is brilliant. I think it is so well done, and I know some horror fans have issues with it, but I really like it. I think it's a really good time. And this film was also written by Todd Farmer. Now he wrote Drive Angry and he wrote My Bloody Valentine, so they've got good form for working together. And Todd Farmer also wrote Jason X, which, you know, if you're a Jason fan, it's brilliant, isn't it? Possibly for a review soon. It's much better than you might remember. So good pedigree, good horror pedigree behind this movie. So what's it about? Okay, so it starts a little bit back in time, 2015. How refreshing that we're at a point now where a back in time scene is still in a few years. I like that idea. I like the fact that it's like, yeah, okay, I get that, because it only just happened. So in 2015, there's this Halloween party, and they're playing Spin the Knife, rather like Spin the Bottle, but Spin the Knife, but it's got Trick written on it. And this leads to a guy wearing a pumpkin mask, a really cool pumpkin mask from the poster. It's like a happy pumpkin on one side, and you turn it around, it's like a sad pumpkin on the other, and I was like, yep, that is good slasher killer look. We're on for a good start here. He is one of the kids at this party. He loses it and he stabs everyone. Yeah! And I mean, he loses it. He goes around, he's stabbing, he's slashing. The body count in the first 2-3 minutes of this film is high. He's exceptionally high. He's there stabbing away and slicing away. And he kills a lot of people. But he gets stabbed himself in the fight, and he ends up going to hospital. Where in a hospital, he escapes, and he gets shot a few times by the police, and he falls out the window. There's quite a lot of falling out the windows in this film, and he lands 2 floors, splat, and he looks like he's dead, and then they get down there and he's gone. But they reckon he's gone into the water, and they assume he's going to have drowned. But one of the detectives, now, it's Omar Epps, who plays a detective called Mike Denver. Now, Omar Epps, I recognise straight away from Scream 2. Can't think of anything else I've seen him in recently, but he is like the no-nonsense, I think he's still alive. He might still be out there. And the other, his sort of sheriff partner, played by, what was her name? Ellen Adair. She's much more cop of the day. No, of course he's dead. We put loads of bullets in him, blah, 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 blah. And then it skips a year. And now we're at 2016. And there's a Halloween party. And there's someone there in a demon mask. Different mask. Not the same mask, but demon mask. And he slices the place up. So basically, this goes on then for the next 4 years. Every Halloween there is a massacre, effectively, where some guy slicing everybody up. And then the internet's going wild about this, and they have this legend, and they're calling it the legend of Trick. Trick will come back at Halloween. He almost has like a cult following. And it's called Trick because, well, it's trick or treat, so it's like Halloween time, but his name is Patrick. So yeah, okay, see what you did there, fair enough. And what then ensues when we sort of hit 2019, with sort of the modern year it's set in, is we find out that Detective Denver has lost his job because he was part and parcel of the year before where some FBI agents got killed. But he kind of won't let it go. He knows the Trick's coming back, and they've worked out he always comes back along the river to one of the towns on the river, which kind of gets a little bit blurry because they talk about the fact that he haunts the same place, but then it seems to be like it's a town on the river. And my bearings got a little bit lost. But he's like, he's coming back. The sheriff's like, they find someone with no eyeballs, and they decide that, oh, maybe that's it, maybe we need to get him back on board, and we need to look into this. And it basically, the first half of the movie is effectively it's a little bit like a Seven style film in terms of the structure, that it's kind of about Omar Epps tracking him down, almost like this game of cat and mouse. Can he find him? And he gets close to him on lots of opportunities. You know, we see him stood next to him. He sends messages to some of the police about meet me here. And then what ultimately happens is he's setting traps and he's killing off police. So you kind of get this like Seven procedural movie, which in the first half an hour I think is really strong. I think it's the best thing about this film. And then it kind of descends a little bit more into basic slasher territory, trying to throw in a few Saw almost style, like quite over the top deaths. And all this is going on with the police trying to work out who did it. You as the viewer, they start hinting at you about, like, could it be this person or could it be that person? And you kind of follow Detective Epps, no longer Detective Epps. You follow his story. You also follow the story of a girl from the initial killing. Her name is Cheryl in it, played by someone called Christina Reyes, I think. And she's really good. She's really solid, actually. She's a good actress as well. And it follows her story, and that was quite interesting. You get a few horror staples pop up. Tom Atkins is playing a diner. Some guy that runs a diner, and he's like, everyone says, "Oh, you don't like anyone." He's like the most, old school, I don't like anyone kind of guy going. And Jamie Kennedy, second film I've watched with Jamie Kennedy in the last few weeks. It turns up as a doctor in a very small role, but I mean, it's fine. So that's the setup. That's what happens. What did I like about it? Kill count's high. Kill count is high. There is a couple of interesting deaths. One in particular that's played really well, to do with effectively decapitation, and there's a couple of decapitations in this. They play one out where I was like, that's intrigued me. That I quite like the structure of that. Yes, it feels like something you've seen before, but I quite like the way it played out. I like the acting. I think Omar Epps is phenomenal as the lead in this. I hope we see much more of him. He's obviously a working actor, but he carries a lot of the weight of this film. I loved the initial killer mask. I thought the idea of Trick at the beginning of this film was great, and the first half an hour I was solidly on board. What didn't I like about this movie? Well, the horse bolts from the beginning. You were setting up for an interesting procedural dark thriller about tracking down a serial killer with lots of clues and hints, and that descends into really crap death scenes. It descends into really poor slasher tropes. And you're losing even things like, oh, we've got a great mask. Well, let's give him another mask. No, stick with what worked. Now it just becomes a wash of blur of, well, who's tricks. It also leans a bit too much into, could it be him or could it be him? And you're like, no, it definitely can't be one of those people. Is it really Trick? Did he die? Is it the cult? Is it supernatural? And then it kind of just gets a bit to the point. There was a point about 45 minutes in where I thought, okay, I know what the ending is. You've told us the ending. I can see that there's a twist coming, but you've kind of told me the twist. And it doesn't out and out tell you it, but it kind of hints to a twist coming. And then when it's not really a twist, but the revelation. Then when the revelation comes, you're like, is this supposed to be shocking? I don't know. Am I not supposed to have known? And also, did I care? And quite simply, no, I just didn't care. The blood started to get CGI, which just looked awful. The budget constraints, it was really weird. I would have thought this was it had quite a good budget, but then there were certain things about it that I thought that doesn't look very good. In fact, the whole aesthetics, it kind of had that washed out look that you kind of got with like the Saw movies, but in like what should have felt like a more vibrant setting, of Halloween, and all the excitement of Halloween was missing. in this film. Yeah, and it's way too long. And I paused it, thinking, right, it's near the end. Have I got time to grab another drink before it finishes? I think I probably have. I'll just check. And there was still 40 minutes left. And I was like, what is going on with this? Yeah. So what had the potential of becoming a horror classic icon for Halloween. I mean, and it wanted that. It knew it wanted that because it even referenced Halloween. It referenced, what is evil and what is real. What does evil really mean? It's talking like the whole Michael Myers story, and it posed a million interesting questions about, well, if he only kills on Halloween, where is he for the rest of the year? And you're thinking, you want to make a horror icon here, but they just didn't, due to washed out directing, a real po-faced script. I mean, this film should have been tacky, but they played it straight, and that made it feel tacky. It was really weird. Their tongue had not found the cheek at all. But for the viewer, you were like, oh, come on, this trick guy, he's stupid. He's like a superhero that can do anything. He can get a crane and drive a crane. You're like, where did you learn how to drive a crane? You like get shot, and then the next minute he's there. But even the good guys get shot, and those. Omar Epps as Mike Denver in this film died about 20 times and never died. I'm like, come on, there is no continuity with what seems to be possible in this film. And it started to really frustrate me because I wanted to like it. So, put simply, it wasn't very good. If you are looking for something to watch on Netflix, you would probably enjoy the first half an hour of it, and then it just goes where everything else does when they don't know what to do with a horror movie, and just descends into boring classic horror trash, really, but not in a good way. I'm going to give it 2 pumpkins. They're not very big pumpkins. They're only very big pumpkins. I'm giving them 2 pumpkins because I really like the setup at the beginning. But yeah, there's better stuff out there to watch, and there's better slashers out there, and both people behind this film have made better movies. So go watch them instead. Cool. Right, I'm gonna go find my mask and go terrorize some folks. Peace.